The school that I went to was very, very gang heavy. I was recruited into a gang in grade 7, grade 8. I stopped trying in school and I left church as well. I began selling drugs. At first, it was just to kind of like afford free drugs. So like I could, sell 5 of these and then I can have 1 for free. And I had done a lot, all the drugs laid out on the table. So I passed out, like I basically overdosed and I was like on the floor with both my nose bleeding. And then my dad came downstairs to find me, try to like splash water on me and everything, right? And I wasn't like responding, right? And so they called the ambulance. Yeah, I could have died like in the basement if he never came down. Once I got released from the hospital, they arrested me on the spot. Like my parents were there. My mom was like hugging me with like my hands cuffed. This was probably when I was like 21-ish. That's when all the health issues all attacked at the same time. Decay affecting everything, whether it's your bladder, your intestines, your ribs, your everything here gets affected, right? But the sickest part about all this is that all the while I'm doing drugs, like constantly, because my brain, the voice inside my head is telling me you'll feel better once you do drugs, right? Like this pain will go away. I was like a ghost down there. Like I was just dying, but nobody knew. I didn't want to talk to anybody, and then I didn't want anybody to see me either, right? Because like I was like a mess. When they saw that, again, broke their heart, right? Like they already saw how I looked, kind of walking like this, like a ghost basically, right? Like a ghoul. My mom was crying the whole time. She was just like, she's like pleaded, like they literally pleaded with me. They said, please like get help. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's see what this rehab's about. And that is really the turning point, because my circle of influence were always gangsters, drug dealers, or drug addicts. And so now I've had this person sitting in front of me who has done more drugs than me, harder drugs than me, and done it for a longer time even. But he was sitting there in front of me sober, right? And that was like, it blew my mind. And then he kept mentioning, he's like, oh, the gospel saved my life, right? The gospel changed me. God's plan to take me out of like community in that old environment, right? And then put me into a place where my relationship with him to begin. Gonna be alone, time that I could reflect. Because there's nothing else here but the Bible. So like at first it was like immersed in the word like that, and God speaks to you through his word. That was like the beginning part of that transformation, I guess, that Christ had planned here. In a place where I actually genuinely experience what true community is. Literally what I had been looking for all along, right? Because like back even with the gangs and everything, right? It was just looking for real brotherhood, right? Real community that's like supportive unconditionally and all that kind of stuff. But obviously joining a gang like didn't fill that void. Doing drugs never filled that void. But in Operation Dawn, where I really felt like Jesus filled that void through people, through scripture, and providing me this new place and a new chance at life.